Hey everybody, Andrew Fox here. Glad to have everybody on the call. I've been looking forward to doing this webinar with you guys. I'm sure you're very excited. We're just going to run through the names. Give everybody a couple of minutes just to get ready. What I recommend you do, okay guys, is make sure you have a pen and paper handy because I'm going to be sharing a lot of links and resources. This webinar is being recorded via two separate sources. As you know, webinars can be a wee bit creaky sometimes and decide not to record properly. And also, I will give you a copy of the slides as well, okay, guys? So I have a lot of good information to share with you and stuff. So let me just go down here. If everybody could just type in the chat box, you can hear me okay, guys? All the audio coming through and stuff, everything good? Yep, there's Hiram Paddle, Douglas Van Bursket, Rusty Moore, Mr. Andrew Hamilton, my friend from Manchester, Juan Hera, Jill Thompson, Lionel Cruz, Vince Ordit, Martin Coley, Stefan van der Weij, Martin, Tobias Burden, Ken Banks, Rick Laurie. Okay, all great guys. So we'll just give another couple of minutes and then we'll start. So everybody excited, I hope? It's going to be a good call. We're going to go through this I work at a pretty fast pace. That's how I get things done. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A, so you can ask me anything you want and stuff. And really, hopefully in this module, really just going to cover, really picking the right type of product to sell and create. Obviously, there's many elements in a successful product launch, and getting that product right on target is really key. I'd like to say it's the most important thing. To be honest, creating the product, the sales letter, motivating the affiliates, everything's all pretty important. But this is kind of hurdle one. You've got to get this bit right, or you're going to be kind of swimming against the tide as opposed to surfing down with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is officially start the fancy presentation. As you can see, guys, I haven't got any fancy graphics, any of that sort of nonsense. I'm just like a down and dirty guy. I like to just give good, solid, actionable content, which I think is what most people like. So let's go. Okay, so basically my promise to you guys is I'm going to be very open and honest with you from the outset. I've also got my brother on the call. He's going to be coming up a wee bit later. And he's going to show you how to get software products developed for pennies on the dollar. Things like how to talk with programmers, checklists, really super valuable stuff. I know a lot of you will be very interested in that because software is a really colossally massive business. You'll be surprised how cheap you can get it made, and the ROI in it is pretty insane. So over the next 4 weeks of this DNA Wealth product launch training, I'm always going to show you examples of everything I've personally done, okay? So that's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. So all the screw-ups I've made and stuff, and all the good things, I think are very important because I would say it's a very important to show mistakes as well as successes. Put in the checkbox, do you agree with that? Because obviously everybody hears success stories, but they like to hear about how you got there. And people call it failures. I never see it as failures. It's just a learning experience. Whether you've mishandled an affiliate, or you've read the market wrong, or you've written the sales copy wrong, or you've priced something wrong. It's good to really look at all these factors and kind of work out what went wrong and why. Thankfully, my worst product launch has been about 100 grand in the last sort of 10 years, so they'll go pretty reasonably well. I always joked about the day if you're doing $100,000 in revenue from a single launch, that was bad. That you got to look at yourself in the mirror and think it's a drastic improvement from the days when I was washing cars for $5 an hour. So personally, another thing that I really hate, guys, is you get people that try and sell you, and tell you what to create, basically, based on theory, like, hey, you should go into this market and sell this because that, and oh, if you want to go into a market, do that and price it at this. Here's an example. I'm also operating the fitness market. We have a great following there, developing great products, and I see some guys come on with all good intentions, and they go, just build a fitness product for 67, and then a back end funnel for 997, and then a boot camp for 1997, and you're like, I can tell you now, guys, that Yes, there is rare circumstances with very big celebrity fitness trainers that can command these kind of fees, but most people in the fitness market can't do those kind of fees. It's going to be very hard, a very hard sell. I know of remote, when this has happened before, just slight possibilities. But again, a lot of these guys talk about how to create products based in theory. So everything I'm going to do is just going to be what I've done and kind of case study based. Again, I think that works pretty well. So basically, I would say my success has come through really testing and using a bit of originality. And as a result of this, most of the product launches I've done have really hit, like a home run. Um, Now, yeah, this is a very obvious statement. There's a lot of copycat syndrome in internet marketing. You see it every day, and what I mean by this is people see a particular type of product, whether it's Facebook or Google AdSense or just something over the years. There's always like a late hot topic, or they'll see a certain price point. Like you've seen the again for people who have been here for years, you'll see the $9.95 price point, the $17.37, 497, 1997, and whatever is hot at that point, people decide to copy everyone else. Is it right or wrong to copy the marketplace? That's the question. Well, I'm going to give an answer on that. Personally, I like to look at what the market is doing and then make some key changes, okay, to kind of position myself better, to give affiliates better commissions, to sell things at higher prices, not necessarily super expensive. Depends on what the market wants, and we'll go through that. Now, here's a key point. What you always want to try and do is you want to pick a hot market and raise the price to what the market will accept. And what I mean by that is you need to find out something that's selling very well. I mean, at this exact moment in time, Facebook software is very, very hot. Again, a lot of you on the call will know that. Anything to do, there's things like apps that'll put, graphics and buy buttons in Facebook. They'll design, opt-in pages for Facebook. So you'll also see that a lot of these products, or sometimes they're around $10, $17. What I did was we released a product called FB Gorilla, and we sold that for $37. Now, is that expensive? In the marketplace around JVZoo, yes, that was expensive because most people were charging, as I said, probably $10 to $17. I do actually know the average ticket price of JVZoo because I'm friends with the owner, Brian Zimmerman, the CEO. But obviously, I don't know how if he wants me to reveal that information, so I can't really tell you. It'll be up to Brian. But like I said, $37 was more expensive at this current moment in time. So what I actually did, guys, was I priced that when I launched it at $67, and literally the sales were absolutely terrible. They were so slow, and I changed the price after 18 minutes. Okay, 18 minutes, guys. And again, it's just because I've done this so many times. I kind of got the feeling that the price was the issue, and I dropped it to $37, and the product just took off and went crazy. So what I'm saying is, guys, I test everything. So I mean, that's a little tip for you there. Price sensitive marketing. The markets are very, very sensitive in some cases. Um, you're also going to hear people saying, "Oh, raise your prices. Raise your prices. People will buy." I don't disagree with that necessarily, but like I said, certain markets are going to be price sensitive, and you got to be aware of that. Obviously, for example, I can just say here, your DNA Wealth Blueprint members, you guys have spent thousands of dollars. You're proven buyers. You're a cool bunch of customers. So if I was to sell you, give you good value and sell a product at that price again, there's always a high percentage chance that a lot of you are going to buy because I offer good value and because you're a segmented market. So that's something that you've got to get used to. So there is no hard and fast rule, just guidelines. Um, so I'm going to give you like a real life example from 12 to 13 years ago. Like I said, I really am an internet marketing dinosaur. Have a few grey hairs, not too many. Just need to make a bit more money to get a hair transplant, like Wayne Rooney, the footballer, because I don't want to go bald just yet. Um, so let me give you a bit of background on this. This was around the year 2000 ish or so. I say ish because I literally don't remember the exact years. Too much partying and all that kind of good stuff. But I sold access to a membership website, which basically contained these like traffic generation programs, which would submit your website to various traffic directories. Um, And the thinking was behind this, well, look, everybody has a website, but they're going to want to get traffic and visitors. So that made logical sense. Let's sell them like a membership access to these traffic suite of tools. Um, and this was before the days of Facebook or Google AdWords even existed. So, people couldn't go and get AdWords, couldn't get Facebook, Yahoo. None of this existed, guys. That was totally like totally just not on the, I don't even know where Google was at the time. So, oh, shit, sorry, the slides have just duplicated there. Hold on. There, guys. So basically, what I was doing was I was promoting our website via actually using our own traffic generation services. I was booking solo ads and e-signs, and at the time we were maybe making about 1 to 2 sales a day at $47. Maybe after ad cost, we're banking $10 to $20 profit on each sale. So let's just kind of average that out. At say each month we're doing $2,000 a month sales and $100 profit. Then we had this other website. Okay, now this is really freaky. It was ugly as hell. Okay, we nicknamed this the Money Mail, and I've got to actually I got to paint this picture for you. This website had two options. Okay, it was literally a table on a white web page. So just imagine me drawing it with my hands, a box, and I'm making a joke here. I could probably design it in about 10 minutes in Microsoft Word. And here's exactly what it said, guys. Okay, join for free and send an email once a week to the list. And as you join for free, you're going to become part of that list and you'll receive email from all members. Or you can join for pro. You can send email 3 times a week and receive no email from members, and that's $49. So we kind of had this as a separate site, and we were, sending a little bit of traffic to it. Again, solo ads mainly, because AdWords, Facebook, and all that kind of, stuff that we've been spoiled and got used to, didn't exist. So it was literally the most ugly site you've ever seen. The other site had a reasonably, decent sales letter, good, traffic suite, maybe 7 or 8 tools. But for whatever reason, this ugly little like pit bull of a website seemed to sell pretty well. So no sales page, no fancy design, and it was getting 1 to 2 sales a day, which was unbelievable. So basically ugly and basic, but this is something, write this down, guys, on a bit of paper right now, okay? The market wants what the market wants, okay? It's like if you go into a bar and you see everybody drinking Budweiser and not anybody else is drinking Heineken or whatever else, or everybody's drinking vodka and Red Bull, or everybody's drinking Jägermeister, you just have to pay attention. Don't argue with it. The market wants what the market wants. This is a really, really key factor. So basically, my thoughts were, this is the most ugly website ever. So what's the natural thing to do? Well, let's develop a product around it. So this is exactly, I'm going to tell you exactly my, how I set up this product from the start. Again, I'm trying to use just a real life case study, exactly how I educated myself from the ground zero. So I got these internet marketing seminar training videos by Corey Riddle. It was actually for my Christmas present. Again, it was around, I think, 2000-ish, Christmas of 2000. And I bought his internet marketing training course, which was, a couple of $100. I bought Yannick Silver's instant sales letters. That product's still around, by the way, guys. I'll get a link for that as well for you. It's a great product. Might have doubled with inflation and stuff, and to pay for Yannick Silver's exquisite lifestyle. Only joking, Yannick. He's a good friend of mine. But a great product. Marlon Sanders' amazing sales formula. So literally, that's how I taught myself, guys. I bought a general internet marketing training course. I bought a couple of guides on how to write a sales copy. So, I had an idea. The market was showing me some direction, so I invested in some education to basically write the sales copy. So what we did was we developed an advanced mailing system with different levels and, created a sales letter. We called this the ultimate mailer. So that's a picture of it there. Very fancy. As you can see, the logo is easily worth thousands of dollars. If Obamacare was paying for that, they probably would have paid like $1 million to that logo. So as you can see, it was a pretty simple website. You can see here, join before the 20th of May, our official launch date. I was actually pre-launching it. Again, I didn't even know what a pre-launch was at this time. So now from memory, here's what the offers were on the page. Okay, bronze, you send mail 1 time a week and you receive 20 emails a day. That was $59. Silver, you send email 3 times a week, you receive 10 emails a day, and that's $77. And gold, you send mail 5 times a week, you don't receive any emails, and that's $129. We also had an exit pop-up, I think, to collect emails, which were really mainly to get people on the list because they were becoming part of the list to send to. It's a bizarre concept, guys. Again, you sort of think of it like safe lists, and why would people want to join a list to be on the same list that everybody's mailing to? Well, the question is, if you're paying that per year and you're making money back, I mean, if you're spending $129 in a year and you're making more money back and it works and you're promoting stuff, would you not do that all day long? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So again, I'm not here to question what the market wanted. The market wanted to buy, and I was there to supply the demand. So we released this product on ClickBank 2001. Recruited some affiliates. Again, at the time, affiliate was quite a new word. We used some time-sensitive marketing to get people excited. Again, I didn't really know I was doing time-sensitive marketing and pre-launch. I was just kind of feeling my way out. So effectively, I was doing a product launch 12 years ago without realizing it. It was pretty weird. So I remember before this, our best month prior to this was maybe a couple of $1,000s in sales, with $800 in profit. In a single month with this Ultimate Mailer, we generated revenues of 30 to 40K, which was, I mean, that was absolutely mind blowing. From going from $800 a month in profit to, we maybe made like, I don't know, 15 grand, 20 grand, but that was, fucking insane to be bluntly honest. And I thought, oh my God, this is it. I've kind of cracked the code. And to be fair, I kind of did crack the code all those years ago. This was a really good product. So we started leveraging affiliates on ClickBank and just kept growing. Again, memory, rough figures, 200 grand in sales that year with this program. But what I want to show you what happened next, guys, is really important, okay? Because if you're going to develop products and product launches, I want you to do it right from the start. A lot of you will have launched products in this, but maybe you want to start about thinking restructuring, because by the end of this call, your mind's going to be so open to all the different possibilities, okay? So let's move on. What we did was brand expansion. Just having a glass of water. So basically, I wanted to set up a recurring revenue model. Why? Because recurring revenue rocks. Again, back then at the time, there was no subscriptions to iTunes really, I don't think, in any of that stuff. But offline, you see it every day with gym memberships, membership to cable TV, that kind of thing. So I kind of thought, well, you know what? If these guys are charging monthly, well, why can't I build an online business to charge a recurring revenue model? So we created this new service called the Guru Mailer around 2003. And basically, what was the difference between Ultimate Mailer and Guru Mailer? Well, it's basically we added in new features. We added in the ability to send HTML mailings, personalized name tags. Again, guys, this was totally, beyond its time back then. And there's a screenshot from the website there. And basically, we released that. So that product did, I think the first month it did something like 30 or 40 grand, but recurring revenue per month. So I was like, holy shit, this is absolutely rocking. So, it was a really good business model. Plus, when customers joined, we allowed them to become an affiliate and earn recurring commissions promoting that. And to this day, I can tell you now, guys, affiliates love recurring commissions. So yeah, it was, a really good model. The next year, we brought out another one called the Responsive Mailer. And you're probably sitting there laughing now going, holy crap, what's this guy doing? And overall, that mailing brand over 2 or 3 years, I was also working in, I had like other product launches going on in the background, but this mailing brand, I think brought in a high 6 figures, maybe even 7 figures in revenue. But what I did there, guys, was I discovered something. I smelt blood and I just expanded the brand, and that's what I'm going to try and train you guys to do, because that's where you're going to make, I would say you're going to make the easiest money ROI, because if you develop a good brand and you keep adding to it and developing it, because you've already got the core there, you can redevelop it and add features and relaunch it and release it and stuff. And it's a great business model to follow. I mean, it's basically what the big companies do all the time. Look at Apple. They basically bring out the iPhone 3, the 4, the 5, the 5S. They bring out bigger screens. They bring out more features. They bring out different colors. this is what all the big companies do. And basically, what they did in a nutshell was they effectively had a really successful product launch for the iPhone and probably the iPod back then. But with that iPhone, they leveraged that. Okay, they leveraged that into launching other products like iPads, iMac, MacBook Pro. So really, that successful product launch boosted their image. Is everybody getting this, guys? Just put in the chat box there. Is this beginning to kind of help you click on stuff to see the bigger picture? Because if you can zone in on this will make your product launching so much more successful and a lot more profitable. Okay, yep. Just going through the questions here. So I'm just going to go through the questions here a wee second. Okay, yep. Chris Blur, loving this. Ken Banks, Vince Wilson, Michael Labretti, Russell. Yep, everybody's liking it. Okay, cool. So, okay, there we go. So we've been going, guys, for 15-20 minutes. Hopefully you've got more information than most of sometimes you buy a guide and it's full of nonsense. So let's just go back to the presentation. So, okay, where were we? So basically, you know, up to this point, you know, I'd sold millions of dollars in ClickBank over the previous years. It was one of my preferred platforms, and I'd done very well with it. But around sort of 2012, 13, there was a lot of kind of hypey programs, and as a result, refunds were going up, customers were more irritated, and there was general unrest. Um, and basically, it became a bit harder to do business in this particular marketplace because even if you were selling a good quality product, it would get mixed up or, you know, quote unquote, associated with less quality ones. Because the problem was in this kind of market, people just bought so many programs and refunded. They're always looking for the magic bullet, and it's like the old saying, "Who wants sweets when everybody else is selling crap?" That kind of saying. So I kind of thought, well, you know, at the minute, this really doesn't look where I'm headed because it's very, very hard to pull yourself out, and you're kind of guilty by association. So again, what I did was I kind of stepped outside the marketplace. I analyzed the market and thought, where is you know where's the best platform to launch on, and what way should I do it? So I kind of felt JVZoo were a growing platform. Um, you know, refund rates were around 5%, probably less. You know, ClickBank refund rates are 20 to 30%, and you know those kind of rates weren't uncommon. JVZ also integrated with PayPal. They paid affiliates instant commissions, which is music to affiliates' ears. Again, at this point, you know, as I said, ClickBank were, you know, the refunds were high, and they were also maybe holding like 30-40% of your net paycheck. As a vendor, that's obviously not very favorable, and also as an affiliate, affiliates don't want to, you know, have high refund rates and high reserves. So if you basically have another network that comes along and basically says, look, we're gonna do instant PayPal commissions, and you're gonna get paid instantly to your PayPal, which, you know, could be in your bank account within, you know, 10 minutes. So you could promote an offer, make a sale. Um, Goes to your PayPal and withdraw from your PayPal. And literally takes you bang 2 seconds and it's in. So I knew that would be music to affiliates' ears, and obviously I'm very good at leveraging affiliates and getting them to promote. So, but again, the reason why I'm good at that, guys, is I'm looking at the market and I'm looking at the platform that suits affiliates. Okay, so you know, ClickBank have been really good to me over the years. Everything was good, but just at that point, it really didn't make as much sense. So I decided JVZoo looked pretty good. So we'll go to this case study. Um, so basically, 2012, or sorry, that should be 13. JVZoo was a platform people were beginning to sell on. I'm going to give you these tools, guys. You know, the basically track where the market is going. Muncheye.com and JVNotifyPro.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot over to this and actually show you. So let me go. Okay, that's just loading up now. Well, it normally loads. It's never not loaded for me once, but it's decided to now. Let me just try a different browser, guys. Um, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll go to a separate one, jvnotifypro.com, see if that other one loads. Okay, so you can go here, guys. Basically scroll down, and this will tell you where all the launches is. What's more important though is, so you can basically see here, okay, and then you can click on it. You know, processor JVZoo. What I kind of like about Muncheye, I like it when it loads actually, guys, but Muncheye actually has a little icon beside each launch. So you see the way you can click on each launch here, and it says processor JVZoo. Again, let's just click on this. ClickBank, JVZoo, ClickBetter. Oh, sorry, that's loading now, guys. So let me just go back to this. So these are the launches, okay? Premium launches. So the wee symbols are who launches on what. So that's JVZoo, and that's Warrior Plus. Now in 2012, Warrior Plus would have actually been one of the more popular ones, but JVZoo basically came in, better features. Brian Zimmerman, basically the CEO, he basically said, "What makes JVZoo better?" And I asked him, he goes, "We're just better, we're faster, we put in more features," and he was right. They're a great company. Brian's a brilliant guy as well. So as you can see, guys, you've got still Warrior Plus launches, but JVZoo is predominantly the place to go. Like there's ClickBank. I mean, years ago, ClickBank was the one to go on. So if all the affiliates and product launches are going JVZoo, the question I have to ask you is, why would you go against the tide? I mean, sometimes there's pros and benefits, but as you can see, most of these launches are on JVZoo. So that one there, they're ClickShare. So this is a great place. I mean, you'll be able to tell as as launches happen and stuff, you'll be able to see these begin to update and change and things like that. So as the market changes, third-party sites like this will reflect it. If you scroll down there, Muncheye, if you like that page, Chris Munch will keep you updated and stuff. So, okay, that's one of the sort of guides. So let's just go back to this presentation. Okay. Okay, so basically summer 2013, I knew basically that the JVZoo marketplace was quite affluent with WordPress plugins. Why did I like this? Well, if you know how to install a WordPress plugin or roughly can understand it or get to grips with it, you've got a reasonable amount of knowledge. Sort of the way the marketplace had changed kind of ClickBank was very business opportunity. And that means that these are people that are very, very, limited knowledge, limited skills, and they basically, you'd get customer support saying, I've just bought this product and what do I do? And you're like, oh, Jesus, how, I don't know how to open a PDF. And you're like, oh God. So you're dealing with a very basic marketplace there, just sort of kind of limited entry. So I kind of thought, well, if people know how to do stuff with WordPress plugins, they're going to be a bit more affluent and they're going to be a bit more kind of knowledgeable and understandable. So that was attractive. And what I did was I noticed content creation was a very popular item. And basically any sort of software that would kind of spin articles, copy content from YouTube, Amazon, place on your website, stuff like that was pretty hot. How did I know this? Okay, guys, how did I dissect this would be a good product? So what I want you to do, okay, is you go to places like Muncheye, JV Notify Pro, okay, even write this down in pen and paper, guys, because this is what I want you to do when you're creating your products. Go to these places, okay, get on the affiliate list because product owners will actually tell you their stats and conversions. They'll basically tell you what's doing well and stuff, and you'll be able to ascertain for yourself, if most people say like, oh, we're doing like, we've done like $10,000 in sales, or we've done 20, and you see one going like, oh, we've done $70,000 in sales in 24 hours, and you're like, okay, that seems to be above the fold. It's not necessarily the only thing because obviously some bigger partners do have more JV firepower and stuff, but it is something that kind of helps you weed your way through the kind of maze and discover if a product is going to be like a hot seller. So you'll kind of get a feel for what is selling. Other ways as well are there's a lot of Skype chat rooms, Facebook groups and stuff. We've been speaking a lot about that recently, and you'll be able to kind of find out what's selling, what's not. So I basically deemed content creation as a good market opportunity. Then I decided, okay, we're going to make a plugin that would leverage brand names. For example, how about a plugin that would suck content from Amazon, YouTube, and Yahoo? Now, this is a great technique, guys. This is what I like to call borrowing credibility. Okay, so you see this all the time in real life. Example is, when all the Acai Berry craze was going on, they were advertising. I've seen an note for it because some doctor was on talking about Acai Berry. You're not saying she endorsed it. You're just stating a fact. Okay, so if your product does, suck content from Amazon, YouTube, and Yahoo, which they allow you to do, like they allow you to embed, YouTube videos and stuff on your site, you're not doing anything wrong. You're basically, kind of using, their name to kind of help your product. Again, you got to be careful with it. You don't want to say YouTube or Amazon endorse this and stuff. So always check with your lawyers and stuff first before you develop a product and launch it. Okay, guys. So basically, that's what we decided to do. So what we wanted to do was effectively, in fact, let me just go back to this here, guys, because this is also a very interesting tool. If you go to this link here, guys, jvzoo.com/affiliates/find products. Let me just type that into everybody here. Send all. It might prompt you to log in, guys, but you can get a JVZoo account for free and stuff, so you'll be able to get access to these stats. Again, these stats are absolutely golden. Look at this, guys. Look how much information they give. How many units sold, and then that's throughout the whole funnel. So that's the front end units, and then the back end tells you the conversions, average EPCs, average price, and the refund rate. Again, look at kind of some of the stuff here. You'll notice some of the big guys. This is the IM Wealth Builders, Cindy, Soren, and John. Great guys, really, really cool guys. I had the pleasure of meeting all of them at a conference earlier last year. As you can see, they're building the word Covert, Store Builder, Covert Messenger, Covert Pin Press. They're building a brand and stuff. Again, we're going to get into that a little later in the call. So go down here and you can see amount of units sold. Now, what's pretty cool is, you can see there, Rapid Content Wizard, Unlimited Automated Content. So this is by Sean Donahoe, another good guy. Let's just click here and see the sales page. So again, you can kind of reverse engineer everything against people. And what was interesting was that I remember seeing this at the time. Other products were selling for like $10 and $17, but Sean had sold this. Oh, that's a big picture of Sean. Hey, Sean, how's it going, man? He's a great guy. $37. So I was like, that sold pretty well, and it sold at a more expensive price related to the market. So that's a good sign, guys, that the market will pay for it. So let's just close down there. Sorry, the page. Let's go back. Here's another one here. This is pretty cool. Create cool apps. 5,000 plus sold. 3.58% refund rate. Customers should be pretty happy. Because I want to show you, some of these websites aren't fancy or anything. Let's see the sales page. So there we go, Amber Janlik, August 14th, still going strong. 57-second YouTube video of what it does. Simple text, bit of software, and this has sold over 5,000 copies. Now, let me ask you this, put it into the box. Guys, can you understand, do you think with a bit of sales letter training, especially after I'm going to give it to you, could you improve upon this and develop, something like this? If you could write the good sales copy, put in the box, please. Absolutely, guys. Now let's look. Now you know what this means, guys, because you'll go through DNA Wealth Blueprint. Because I'm going to give you all this, really, top quality stuff and all this training, you're going to be able to go into markets like this and just totally dominate. So let's. Hope you're all getting excited there, guys. Okay. Again, this was Ali G, another good guy, social lead freak. See the sales. Look, $97. You know, this was did pretty well as well. But you know, there's nothing really too fancy in these letters.
Hey everyone, this is Ali with Ali
Hey
Shamali
Ali,
coming live
whoa,
from New York City.
calm down, man, calm down. But you know, that's $97, and you can go in there and see that product did $4,000 plus. That's fantastic to see. So that validates. You can go in and see what type of product it is. You know, what is the market paying for it? Basically, just go through this. I mean, you can spend like here's another one I just looked at. Thomas Whittick. He's one of my good affiliates. Hi Thomas, have you ever watched this? Another good guy. Um, you know, 3,500 copies sold. I caught a look at this earlier. See the sales page. So again, look, there's a 10-minute video, what the product does, a few sales commissions, and a buy now. Look how, guys, look how short this is. So you should be getting really excited now because you think if I can develop products like this and learn, you know, all the techniques that I'm going to teach you in DNA Wealth Blueprint, you should be able to like release products and do really, really well with this. Okay, guys. So I hope these are all very excited with this. So what I'll do now is I'm going to actually show you how to develop products and develop a brand. And let's go back to that. So okay, so that's the link there, guys. Have fun with that. You'll get a lot of great competition from there. Okay, so everybody enjoying it so far? Everything good? Ready to rock and roll? Back to the promotion? Okay, so here we go. So basically, I came into JVZoo and I was basically saying, build a new brand and a product line, and how we managed to make such an impact in JVZoo and go into like the top, you know, 1 or 2% of sellers pretty much instantly. And from the very outset, we were looking to build a new brand to exit and sell on within, you know, sort of 1 to 3 years. Again, there was no set rules for selling a company. You kind of just got to rate the market and kind of reach, does it suit your circumstances? How much money are you going to get for it? Lots of different things in that. So what we decided on, Gorilla was big, kind of like our brand name. We also created a logo that could be repeated across different products. That's the logo on the bottom right there. And the first in the series was Content Gorilla around 5th of September. And basically, you know, our first launch in a brand new marketplace, we had over $100,000 in revenues. We sold that product at $27, I believe, front end price. Thousands of copies sold. You know, got customers into the program, and you know, everything was good. So basically, that was achieved by, you know, what I'll cover in weeks 2, 3, and 4 with you guys. You know, positioning the product, creating the sales copy, the funnel, and whipping the affiliates into a frenzy. But hopefully, what I've done just now, guys, is I've shown you exactly how to research a product and also the importance of also building a brand. Because you notice, obviously, people like the Wealth Builders, they're building a brand. So that's what I want you guys to do. So the very first stage of getting this kind of right is creating the product the market wants to buy. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be sunk. So go and analyze all the market there and come up with a short list of what you want to do. So you might think that you know what the market wants before doing this, but by doing this kind of competitive analysis, you're going to know exactly. So after you've learned what the market wants, you then decide to create the sales copy and the sales funnel. Okay. So analyzing what's hot in the marketplace. Again, you can go to this link here. It's jvzoo.com product/top sellers. I'm just going to go to that now. This is slightly separate to the other one. This will give you the most current information, guys. So again, it'll actually break it down for the top sellers today, top sellers yesterday, top sellers of the last 7 days, and the last 30 days. So again, you're able to kind of keep your eye on that and kind of figure out what's kind of hot, what's not. So again, that's another good tool, guys. So let me just go back here. You can sort those categories out as I showed you. Now this is another really interesting part, guys. When we first developed Content Gorilla, we could have released it with the Facebook feature, you know, kind of added in. Content Gorilla, as a kind of brief description, was a plugin that would you basically could paste. You would say you had a website about golf. So you had a website about golf, and basically you would automatically set up your campaigns where it would paste on your website as it would paste YouTube videos. So you put in your keyword was Tiger Woods. It would put in like YouTube videos about Tiger Wood. The next day it could paste books from Amazon about Tiger Woods. It would paste like Q&As and stuff. But one of the really, really hot items that I realized was Facebook. A plugin that would automatically pull content from things like YouTube, Amazon, and put it on your Facebook page. Now we could have built that in automatically, but we didn't because I could spot Facebook was a big enough opportunity to stand on its two legs. So we decided to split the product up. Now, guys, this is another golden tip. Please write this down. Always look to segment your product. Number one, if you go back to the start of this presentation, do you remember I said I had a product where I was giving away a suite of traffic generation tools, and basically there was about 7 or 8 tools in that. But this one other tool that was basically this stupid little money mail thing, basically sold better than the traffic suite, the traffic generation suite. So sometimes when you give away everything at once, it doesn't work because sometimes people only really want one thing in particular. So I want you to look at it as well at segmenting products. Okay, so don't give away everything in one go, but build it under a brand. So obviously we've released Content Gorilla. So then the next logical one was FB Gorilla. So when you develop these product guys, timing is also very important. I mean, let's just be honest. Where will Facebook be in 1, 2, or 3 years? And the answer is no one really knows. I'm sure it'll be around, but it's very much in its infancy now. So you've got to capitalize while the market is hot. Get in, even on JVZoo and stuff. There's a lot of Facebook softwares out there, and people are going to keep releasing them until the market kind of just gets a bit bored or sick of them, and they stop buying. And that will happen eventually, but you've got to get in there while it's hot. So basically, you've got to rapidly expand your brand at lightning speed. Okay, guys. So as we said, FB Gorilla was released on the 12th of November. We did over 200 grand in immediate revenues with that. So in 8 weeks, we just cleared over 300 grand in cash taken immediate revenues. And obviously we had thousands and thousands of paying customers that were enjoying the software. And obviously the back end, which is where the real profits are made. So you've got to be very, very, what I like to be is be prolific. There was only an 8 week gap between launches. And once you learn how to turn around these software products pretty quick, which you're about to be shown in a second, that's what I want you to do. Be prolific, fast, ruthless. Because once you have a brand started and can spot an opportunity, rinse and repeat. Remember the mailing system, guys? Ultimate Mailer, Guru Mailer, Responsive Mailer, and I actually think I had a fourth mailer that I can't even remember because I was mailed out in the brain. But that's what I'm saying, guys, is get your brand, okay? Get your brand sorted and then start creating new products around that brand. So, I mean, look what we could do in the future. We could extend this brand with tons of products, YouTube Gorilla, Amazon Gorilla, Kindle Gorilla, the list goes on. So hopefully that's sending some light bulbs in your brain of how to really strategically position yourself, release products under a brand and just keep building the momentum, make loads of money, have fun, and sell the business, which again, we'll get to soon. There's another one, Pin Gorilla. So still tons of stuff to cover, but for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the screen over to Old Brother, and he's going to basically take you through like a crash course guide on how to get software developed for pennies in the dollars, what to say to programmers, do's and don'ts and stuff. Hope you're all enjoying this so far, guys. What I'll do now is I'll just pass this over. Chris, are you there?
Yep.
Okay. Let me just find you here. Yeah, I'm just looking on attendees. Have you logged in under Chris, is it, or?
No, it's under your name. It says Andrew Fox. So
Oh,
there's
right.
2 of us.
Oh, it won't let me see. It won't swap the screen here.
I won't overly. Well, I was just gonna go through sort of showing Odesk. I don't. If you can't swap it, you can't swap it. But let me have a look up on my. Have you done change presenter top right?
Let me just try and do this. Okay, guys. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap the screen to you here, I think. Okay, I'm going to pass this over to you. I think my brother's trying to steal my identity. Okay, is that, have you got control there yet?
Can everyone see I've got Google up?
Yep, I can see that, yep. Yep, everybody can see it, Chris. By the way, guys, that's another thing. Your brother's going to try and steal your identity sometimes, so take serious action checks against that. We'll have to talk about this after, okay, Chris?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, right. This is give you a quick introduction. I'm Chris. I'm kind of like the marketing guy, the strategy guy, and the positioning guy. And Chris, if you want to even give Chris like a quick, I suppose just a quick 2 to 3 minute background and who you used to work for and stuff, and how you kind of learned how to develop software and your background and stuff, Portal Feeder and stuff. I'm sure that would help everybody, and then get into the presentation.
Yeah, no probs. Well, well, I started out doing support, and then I began just learning SEO and all these sort of other bits and pieces. So I basically done everything manually. Initially, I would spend 18, 19 hours at a computer grinding and working and learning and failing and repeating the whole process over and over again. And then obviously as I started earning more, I started looking towards buying other people's software just to make my job a bit easier, make things faster, make things more efficient. Then I joined a site called Portal Feeder, which was developed by Jason Potash and Jason Katzenbach. And after about a month or two, as part of their membership, I was always posting in the forum with things that I was trying and testing and doing. And eventually they actually hired me to work for them and be a mentor to their members. So that sort of got me into sort of looking at software, because when I was looking at their software, I was always thinking this could be better. Can you add this in? Can you put that bit in? Can you improve this part? And that sort of began to get me realizing that when I'm continually telling people what they can do to improve their software and improve their services, I'm kind of sort of doing things the way I shouldn't be, whereas I can start developing this kind of software myself because I know what can make it better, and I know what will work better, and I know the strategies that are working, and they know how to make it more user friendly and so forth. So then that's when I ended up basically developing sort of software myself, and I was using it to create sort of affiliate promotions in Google. I mean, I was doing review sites basically before most people even knew what review sites were, and then it became a big fad, and then Google changes and it starts dying out. But with software, I always sort of go with the approach of, I mean, you can be using software yourself. I'm sure many of you are using it in your business. And I'm sure a lot of the time you've said, it would be so much better if it could also do this, or it could also do that. But that's not really much use. If you know it can do something better and you can get your own developed, if you don't have sort of the marketing where you're able, like as a sort of a viable route to sell it, then that's probably why you've never thought of going down the route of getting software developed or not knowing how to do it. I'm not a programmer, so what do you do kind of thing. So I'm just going to sort of use this just to walk you through sort of ideas, and hopefully you'll be able to brainstorm and come up with sort of innovative ways of how to develop your own software products and your own brand, like my brother was talking about previously. One of the easiest places to start, I mean, if you want to test the waters, which I always recommend that you do, I mean, you can just go to Google and type in something simple like PLR software. And what PLR software is, it's not very good software. It will work to a degree, but most of it's buggy and it'll break, and there's nothing really special about it. But you can see here it's cheap, and then what that does is it gives you a testing ground when you go to hire a programmer. So let's say WP Opt-in's plugin. It's $3, and what PLR means is you have the rights to that code, and you can sell it. So you can sort of get the code and have a look at it, and then once you sort of, if you the ideal thing that you want to be doing is you want to use your own software. That's the whole point. If you're using your own software, then you're going to make much better software. So you could buy one that's, say, PLR labeled. If you don't feel you're at a stage in your business where you think you have enough knowledge and savvy of sort of the internet and generating sort of money and doing all these different like tactics, etc., then you can start with PLR, and it can get you sort of a way sort of to dip your feet into the water, so to speak. So you'd get a plugin if you have a WordPress site, or maybe you want to use online software, but we'll stick with, I have a tendency to think about a million things at once, so I'll try and funnel my sort of thought process into this, so I hope a lot of you get it. So if you haven't developed software before, the easiest place to start would be a WordPress plugin. I mean, if you go to JVZoo, it's a lot of it's WordPress plugins. I'd say the majority of it is WordPress plugins. And what you can do is look for some PLR ones. I mean, as you can see, $3, $3.49, $3.50, $6.48. So you could buy one of the plugins, install it on a WordPress site and see what it does. And when you see what it does, think about, okay, what can I do to make this plugin better? How can I improve on it? How can I add something in that isn't already in the marketplace? And you can look currently at what's selling and what people are doing, and then you can adapt your strategy sort of that way. But the first thing you need to do when you're posting a job to your programmer is you need to be quite sort of specific in what you're asking. So programmers are hell. Right? The reason why I say that is because they just don't understand what you're trying to tell them a lot of the time. I mean, they can be exceptionally good programmers, but they have their mindset and they have their ideas of how they want something done. And when you give them the way you want it to be done, they sort of go, yes, 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 and then they suddenly decide that they're going to give it to you their way anyway. So you need to be very careful. So if this is your first sort of venture in, just to cover your own ass really, and to make sure you don't spend a fortune or waste a ton of money on a programmer who just isn't worth working with, go the PLR route, and then basically analyze the product, think of ways to make it better. And when you've got that down, you want to sort of jot it down in like a simple sort of form, like the hash sort of one, something sort of simple. We'll just put features for X product. And then you want to add in your features like with opt-in forms. You could also put, I also want it to be able to publish opt-in form to Facebook. Maybe it doesn't have automatic integration, so I want to integrate it automatically with XYZ, such as Aweber, GetResponse. And then you can go sort of number 3. Point number 3, if you've got, say, if we're doing sort of the opt-in forms sort of example, you could have conversion and tracking. So you can track basically conversions, but this is sort of a rough idea. You feel free to steal it if you want. And then what you can do, once you've got this gives you you get a clearer idea in the head of the kind of product that you want to develop. And when you do that, there's a great site called odesk.com. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard of it. Some of you may not have. But what it does is it allows you to post jobs, and you can web development, wherever you're looking for sort of web development would be sort of things like sort of webmaster, programming websites, coding things, software development, desktop applications, game development, scripts, utilities, software plugins, mobile apps, interfaces, project management, where you can hire someone to actually manage your sort of whole software development phase. But the key is you don't want to give away too much information. This is really when you post a job for your product that you want to get developed, or your software, just whatever way we'll sort of name it, you don't want to be too specific. You want to obviously give enough detail so you can get sort of a qualified programmer, but you don't want to post all the specifications that you want in your product, because people will scour Odesk and they're always looking for ideas. So you could have your WordPress plugin, what could be your job title. I've used it for a lot when I got WordPress plugins developed, because WordPress plugins are coded in PHP. So if they can work a WordPress plugin and code a WordPress plugin, they'll be able to do your job. Well, you would think that, but we'll talk about that later. The work you want done, you could say, I have existing code for a WordPress plugin which I want to be altered. Some new features added in, and code optimized, and existing bugs resolved. And that's that's as simple as I would go. I wouldn't go anything more crazy than that, and I would just keep it very straightforward. So they know you have a WordPress plugin, they know you want features added in, they know you've already got the code. Or if you're starting from scratch, then you just say, I'm looking to have a new WordPress plugin developed, sort of etc. Skills which are needed. You put in WordPress, PHP, and then how would you like to pay? Well, there's fixed price and there's hourly. Now, any new programmer, doesn't matter what happens, always set fixed price initially. Eventually, as you begin to get more software developed, you tend to be able to sort of see through a lot of the shit that programmers talk. But I would always say fixed price, simply because until you know them and you know what work they can do, you don't want to go hourly. Currently, I go hourly with my development team, purely because I know them and I know the quality of their work. But for your first job, set it as a fixed price. And for budget, I mean, basically you could put in anything here, because whatever you put in here can be altered and you can negotiate it in the next sort of phase of hiring a programmer. Then you put in your estimated end date. So let's say you've decided that you want to release a product on the 31st of March. So you don't put in your estimated end date as the 31st of March. You've got to allow for programmers not knowing proper times and dates. So basically, if you say the 3rd of March, in their heads, they will translate that as we'll have it ready for the 24th of March. So give yourself a good 3-week buffer before your launch date. So if my launch date was the 31st, I would put my date for completion, I'd need to have it around the 3rd of March, because I know from experience that the programmer probably won't have it ready until around the 17th to the 24th of March. They'll tell you, of course, they'll tell you that it'll be ready 100%. Visibility. You can do, anyone can find this job, only Odesk users can find this job, only people that are invited can find this job. What I actually used to do was I would do anyone, so I'd let anyone look for my job. Then basically I found I didn't like that, because I was getting so many applicants, and I couldn't sort of process them all, and I was letting sort of good ones fall through the cracks. So I changed it to only people I invite can find this job. And then you can post the job, and that'll be it. That's it all done once you've sort of selected your categories. The reason why is you'll see up here you have find freelancers. So you could just type in WordPress plugin. And here it's actually going to bring you up developers. So you can then just click on their name and invite them. So it saves you the hassle of just speaking to endless amounts of people. So you always want to invite people to your project rather than just leave it open. Because at the end of the day, it takes a bit of time and sort of getting used to when you're developing or looking for a developer. So you need to basically spend a bit of time vetting them yourselves, and then you invite them to your project, and you don't sort of go, right, he sounds great, I definitely want to hire him, and invite. You don't sort of fixate on one person. You just read through their resume, look at sort of past work that they've done. You'll see here people have got good reviews. You can have a look at their resume, 5 jobs in progress, and that way, once they sort of, they'll either accept your invite or they won't. If they accept your invite, then you can talk to them. And make sure you have Skype. They all have Skype, and when you get them on Skype, that is when you move in to explaining your exact features, because if you post it in a public forum, marketers, anybody can see it. If you're inviting these programmers, 2 seconds, I just need a drink of water. If you're inviting these programmers and you already know they're legit and they're going to fight for your business. So the first thing that they're going to do is you're going to tell them what you want developed, and they're going to tell you that they can do this. The next, you're going to really, and they'll really just they'll try and get your business as soon as you speak to them. They'll be yes, 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 and that will be it. And you'll be left feeling, oh, this is good, he can do it, I'll hire him. So you always need to hire, like, speak to at least, I would say at least 4 different programmers on Skype. If you want to speak to more, that's even better, but at least 4 different programmers, and really discuss with them exactly what you want in your product. So in this phase, what you're doing, you'll discuss with them, and then they will then come back to you. Now, what I like to do is to put up the ultimate sort of shit test, is I always like to put a bid for what I want the software developed for, sort of a lot lower, as I showed you. Say you put in $400. I would never put in my exact budget amount. I put it in cheap, and you'll often find if it's a lot cheaper, you think, oh, that's great, I'm paying way less money, but you'll often find that the quality of the work people do when they accept your cheaper bid is actually quite poor. So you start out cheaper, and then what will happen is once you're confident, once you've went through all your features, and be very specific when you're going through. So if you say, I also wanted to be able to publish opt-in forms to Facebook, explain how you wanted to do that. Explain, do they know how to do that? If they say yes, which they will, explain then, can you tell me how you're going to do that? So you can verify, like if they say they're going to use the tab setting, etc. in Facebook, then you can sort of get a good idea that they know what they're doing. So you sort of need to know the fundamentals of how to do it, but you don't need to know the coding or anything like that. It's the same with sort of autoresponders, etc., integration, conversion tracking. Just like I need a counter which shows the percentage of people that hit that specific opt-in page and how many people entered in their name and email, sort of things sort of along those lines. So when you're speaking to them and they're yesing you and they're all agree, what you want to do is then you'll negotiate bids. Now, very rarely do good programmers ever sort of look at the price and they'll say, yep, that's fine. They'll try and haggle it for more. And they'll ask you quite a lot. Like they'll say, I want X amount more. It's going to take X amount of days. So you need to basically stand your ground and sort of have a price in your head that you're not willing to go above. And if they're still going on, they will hard sell you, and they'll tell you how they can do everything. They can meet your deadline, but we already know when a programmer says he'll meet your deadline, he's not going to meet the deadline. He will never meet that deadline. But you've already set it, the deadline in advance, take an account for that. And I always find that when you're whenever they're giving you a price, they'll go high. They'll go as high as they possibly can, and then that's your job to then say no, I'm not willing to pay that, etc. Blah blah blah, and sort of work with them sort of that way on it. The next is don't hire someone on the first time you've just spoke to them either, because you could hire them and then they'll suddenly vanish, and that's why fixed pricing covers you, because then you don't lose any money. But you always want to speak to someone once and then say, okay, I'm going to have a think about this, I'll discuss it with my business partner and I'll get back to you. And then in a couple of days' time, say I want to meet at this time on Skype, and if he's even 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, then I don't even bother using them. You give them times, you give them dates, and after that you go, okay, I'll have a decision for you shortly, and then you go away again and you give them another date and time to be there. And if they're not available, if they're late, if they give you any excuse like I was sick or this or that, then no, they're no go. Go on to the next one. And that may seem extremely harsh to use people listening, but that's the way it is when you're dealing with software developers. They'll always try and squeeze a wee bit more out of you. They'll always try and do things in their terms, or you'll tell them what you want and they'll want to do it their way, and then that's where things get messed up. So you want to know when you hire someone that they're going to do it your way. They're going to be there when you tell them you want them to be there, and they're going to be ready to talk. The next is you always want to make sure whenever you're on the verge of hiring them, you just want to make sure they give you a timeline, they keep you updated on each phase of completion, and they let you do sort of ongoing testing, so you can make sure that everything is sort of specified the way you want it. I'm just seeing you some questions. What programming languages are programs written in? Is there a standard? No, there's no standard language. I should have maybe spoke about that earlier. People may be like, what language do you use? Well, it's different for anything you want. If you're doing a WordPress plugin, you're looking at PHP. So I'm going to get all the most common questions and I will PDF document for it, and sort of like a copy and paste template you can use to work
Hey
your way
guys,
through.
can I just interrupt here? It's Andrew here. Obviously this is pretty valuable stuff here, and I just want to could you leave a message in the box if anybody would like Chris to maybe publish like a much more detailed, thorough program. We could get that done for our DNA Wealth members. Would that be something that would interest you guys? Just put in the box. Yeah. Well, Chris, I've just committed you there to we're going to have to do a webinar in the future for these guys, because we're really looking after these customers like rock stars. So lots of people are very interested.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Brilliant.
That's for stealing my identity. I'm getting them back, guys, and you're getting the benefits of it.
Yeah, well, you see, just on the whole coding point of view, I mean, WordPress is generally always PHP sort of programming. For online development, it can be range from things like JavaScript, Yi, which is going to sound like ultimate foreign language to you. So that's why I always sort of suggest start at the basics when you're looking to develop your own software, because that's how you sort of learn to develop. Because what the beautiful thing is, when you get a WordPress plugin, it isn't that hard to change it from a WordPress plugin into an online application. The existing code's there. It needs to be rewritten a bit, but it can be altered, and someone can start out with it. So it makes it quite handy to do. Now, where do I hire people from? Again, that's a great question. I have no preconceptions, to be honest with you. I hire someone from wherever I think. When I speak to them in Skype, if I think they can get it done, I will hire them. Now, I've used Russians, Georgians, Ukrainians, Americans, UK, Philippines, Denmark, India, Pakistan, Lebanon. And what I've actually found is, again, it could just be as I get things developed, I just get better and better at being able to pick the right people. But I've actually enjoyed working. I've got developers in India who I think are sort of very good. But again, there's no region, because there's a lot of bad programmers too from all those places. So it really comes down to, you want to develop software, you want to get it done for as cheap as possible. But if you try and be a bit too stingy on how much you're willing to pay, then you're not going to get the best people, and you never will. So it's kind of, you have to sort of have a sort of a fair price, and then you need to try and sort of bargain and deal with them and tell them that if they're good, you'll have a lot more work for them, and things along those lines. Because what they're always going to want, and what they're always going to say to you, is they want hourly. They're always going to ask for hourly. If you say fixed price, they'll go, oh, it's going to cost more, and I have these people to pay, and these people to pay, and these people to pay, and you go, well, that's sort of not my problem. I'm offering a fixed price. When you know the programmers, and the difference is when you actually know them and you've worked with them and they've developed with you, when they do hourly, they are basically at your beck and call. They're there, they'll talk to you. You can discuss different sort of aspects. You can see the work ongoing sort of live on your screen. It takes screenshots of their screen. But again, I wouldn't ever start out hourly if it's the first time you're going to get software developed. Next rule, never ever tell anybody what programmers you're using. Doesn't matter. I think the only person who knows what programmers I use is my brother. Like, that's it. He's the only person I'd ever discuss it with. And the same should be said for everyone else when you're looking to get programmers developed. But do you have
Chris, you see for a ballpark figure, just to give guys something, to work off. If you're wanting to kind of like a WordPress plugin, would you say kind of a budget of, setting a budget, well, to what the programmer thinks, maybe $400 to $500 is fair enough to get someone of decent quality, and then obviously there's a bit of haggle room in that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, if you know yourself, if your plugin's going to be, if it's going to cost more, just purely because you know that it's quite, if you're doing something that's quite unique and hasn't been done before, or you haven't seen it done, then you know it'll cost more. But if for something like a lot of the plugins I see in JVZoo, I would say around that mark, like $400 or $500. But you'll get a good. You'll never start out with something completely advanced unless you have been doing a lot of sort of work and you've got this great idea for a plugin and you know it's going to involve quite a lot of sort of different specifications. But for your standard plugin, which you'd sell via product, I would say around $500 would be a fair enough price. They'll haggle and they'll move, and it'll probably bounce up and around. Again, if a programmer accepts your initial price, then I always feel a bit uncomfortable, which is, I know it sounds strange, but it's because I like you. It's just basically from experience when I've worked with programmers. You always find if they try and haggle a wee bit more out of you, sometimes they're a lot better, but it's sort of for your own sort of judgment call. When you speak to them, you'll get a good feel for your programmer. And someone mentioned language barrier. That's a key factor. Again, if you're speaking to them in Skype and they're not understanding what you're saying or they're not grasping what you're asking them, then you can't use them. I wouldn't even try to bridge the language barrier. There's absolutely no point, because when you try to bridge, a lot of people from programs from India I spoke to have absolutely great English. Some are very poor and they don't understand the way you use phrases. But if you find a good programmer and his language skill is quite good and you use him again, you begin to sort of develop like you understand each other. But initially, if they don't understand you and you don't feel like you're getting your point across, I wouldn't use them. It's as simple as that. I mean, there's 10,075 freelancers found on Odesk when I typed in WordPress plugin. So, I mean, you just got to be ruthless sometimes, and that's just the way it is whenever you want software developed.
The good thing is, guys, that obviously, throughout the 4 weeks training here in the product launch training, I'm going to be giving you really high end stuff on obviously writing sales copy and converting and stuff. So obviously, the more money that you can make off your product is the more you can invest in a programmer and stuff. So obviously, that's going to give you great leverage. If you can sell more and you can convert more, then you're going to be willing to pay a bit more from that as well.
Oh yeah, 100%, Andrew. Like you know yourself, whenever you launch, I mean, we reinvest quite a lot of money, quite a lot of the money in developing new products and bigger, badder, better. I mean, someone asked what kind of money would it cost to develop something like FB Gorilla. A lot. I wouldn't even like sort of consider starting there. I mean, from the groundwork, I mean, tens of thousands easily. But if you want to start there, have like I would, you can try it out and try and go along those routes. But FB Gorilla like was a complete monster. It evolved. I mean, this went back for years that we were building and growing, and because we were using it ourselves, but it wasn't at that time FB Gorilla. So we started out with code and we added and we tweaked and then we added more code and then we tweaked and then more, and it grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. So I mean, the lifespan of FB Gorilla, if I could take it back to when we originally, what it originally was, I think it's over 2.5 years. Free? No, no, yeah, nearly December. I think it was around 2010. So you're talking like a 3 year life cycle of what it evolved into, which
Yeah,
is
it was
crazy.
it was
But
kind of a bit of an evolution of growing and waiting for the right time to strike the market with it. But again, I'll be getting back to that in the presentation with the guys, Chris.
and that's what you want to do when you're developing software. Don't always look at it as look for the final, perfect, greatest bit of software. Look at getting something decent and quality, something you can sell to someone, something that your customers will like. And if the customers like it, it doesn't have to be the biggest, baddest, or best sort of thing out there. It just has to provide a useful service, and then you always leave room for expansion. So you can always continue to grow it out and build it and make it better and update it, bring out add-ons, bring out similar products. Like my brother was talking about the brand of Gorilla. I mean, it doesn't matter what niche you're in. You have the same sort of you can just sort of let things go and you can build it whatever way sort of you want. But you need to start out with something. If you're starting out, start out with something quite simple but is good and is a bit better than what else is out there in the marketplace. Try and look for different angles on the software itself. Like, what could I do to make that just a bit different so that this one doesn't do it or this competitor doesn't do it? So people can't say, well, what's the difference between your bit of software and this other guy's bit of software? So you can just have like different little tweaks to just make it sort of that little bit better. And you don't need to spend that much more to do it. It just comes down to spending a bit of time, finding a good programmer, and then really sort of when you find a good programmer, you'll know once you develop your first product or build your sort of first bit of software, you'll begin to know because they'll actually start giving you ideas. Like generally, you're always giving your programmer ideas, but whenever you can actually brainstorm with your programmer and you can bounce ideas off each other, that's when you know you found a good one. Whenever they're like, yep, that's a good way to do it, but you could probably make it a bit better and user friendly doing it this way. And that's when you know you've sort of got a good one whenever you begin to agree with your programmer, because I very rarely ever agree with programmers when I speak to them, apart from the odd few.
Okay, cool, Chris.
Uh,
Well, if you wanna wrap up here, I'll go back to this and I'll go back to the presentation. But thanks for coming on the call and stuff, and hope everybody liked that. What we'll do is we'll set up something in the future where we can kind of dissect that, get you guys a few checklists and stuff. I'm sure that would be helpful for everybody to go down this route.
yep, I will basically, once this is over, my brother's going to send me basically a list of questions which I want to put in an FAQ, and then I'll basically run you through. I'll have a few email templates for you to use, which would help you sort of weed out some of the crap talkers, and I'll give you sort of specifications on okay, like I said, you know, where I mentioned earlier, give them times to meet you on Skype, and then give them another time in like a couple of days' time and a date when you want to speak. And if they're not there, just simple little things. It doesn't. It sounds a bit sort of crazy about it, but it's just what I find works. Um, so it's been sort of good talking to you, and of course, as you're part of the DNA sort of Wealth Blueprint, and it's sort of run by my brother and Peter. If you ever want to sort of run product ideas or anything past me, I'm sure you can sort of hook up with me in Skype, and I'll be happy to sort of walk you through it.
Okay, good stuff, Chris. Well, whenever you're ready, if you just pass the screen back, and I can get back.
I think this is the right one.
Okay, rock and roll. Lots of people saying thank you, Chris. So it's all good. Okay, guys. So let's again. Basically, we've given you a good crash course there. Researching markets, developing a bit of software. Um, so would everybody like to hear about building your brand to sell it for a nice payday and how to do it? Absolutely. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So, when we developed the FB Gorilla and Content Gorilla plugins, they were basically WordPress based on a one-time fee. It's hard to charge a monthly fee for WordPress plugins in most cases. The market's kind of conditioned to paying for it as a one-off fee. But I always like to add recurring revenue to really any business offering that I've done. Nearly any, if I look back in time, any successful business always has recurring revenue that it might not be in the initial brand, but it's going to be coming. Okay, guys. But for this one, we kind of went down a slightly different route. Um, a thing with WordPress plugins as well to be aware of, if you want to try and scale it up massively, there's always some conflicts because everybody has a different computer, like i.e. they're on a Mac, a PC, they might be using a different web browser like Safari, Chrome, Firefox. They might have other plugins installed, which conflicts in hosting companies. There's a lot of technical things that go with WordPress plugins, but when we sell WordPress plugins, we sell like thousands or tens of thousands of them. So we get this data and feedback very quickly. But the thing is, guys, by releasing these software products as one-time plugins, it gave us those, thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of customers that would give us real-life feedback. And it also generated cash flow to develop the products in the direction we wanted to take it. Now, this is going to make your eyes really, wide open. If you think like, making 200 to 300 grand off a couple of WordPress plugins is good, you can generate a lot more money doing this kind of stuff. And this is what I want to teach you guys, okay? So basically, from the very outset, we were looking at basically generating good cash flow and getting user feedback, okay, to develop the software the way we wanted to go. So customers would basically tell us, features they liked, what they didn't like, things they'd like added in, etc. And this would help us develop where the big payday would come from. So you might have heard of cloud-based stuff. It's SaaS software. Guys, this is a massive opportunity. I want you to get in this. Basically, as you can see, so much stuff is going cloud-based. Look at the world around you. You have iTunes, iCloud. You go to back up your phone, back it up to the iCloud. iTunes. You buy all music digitally. You can download it to your iPad, your iPhone, whatever it is. Not just like music and stuff. If you look like online bookkeeping programs, submitting your accounts, keeping your business files and everything's going online. You want to send faxes, there's like efax.com. GoToWebinar, for example, the service we're using, it's a web browser based service. Online storage services for like image hosting. There's a company, Jing or Screencast.com. They give you a lot of free storage, and then they start charging you around £7.50 a month. Programs like Dreamweaver, Adobe Photoshop, Final Cut, they're now part of a new branch of Adobe called the Creative Cloud. which means that to access these services, it's all cloud-based, which means you have to start paying a monthly fee. Again, they give you a trial to get you hooked, image hosting, etc., and all for a small monthly fee. Now, guys, this doesn't sound like a lot of money, but iCloud, it's like it's 50, 70 quid a year. Bookkeeping programs can be anything from £5 a month to £30 a month. eFax is about £10 a month. Online storage services, I think Screencast is £7.50. Creative Cloud's about £20, and it's all for a small monthly fee. Now, guys, let me get this point driven straight into you. Write this down, guys, because again, this could make you very rich. I have to say could, because I obviously can't promise any income, but this is the direction I'm taking a lot of my businesses. The market is currently being conditioned by these giant household names to make this acceptable in the marketplace. So even look at Amazon, have a service, Amazon Prime. It's £49 a year for faster delivery and kind of stuff like that. So because all these big names are conditioning you to, it's okay to pay for things online, well, that's great. So what you want to do is let them do the heavy lifting and ride the wave, okay? These companies have spent billions and billions and billions of pounds and dollars to basically develop, this is the way they want to go. So all you need to do is basically say, okay, guys, well, thank you for making the market conditioned to buying monthly businesses. How about we build something like that? So our sole aim from the very start with these plugins was basically we want to turn our stuff into a web-based service and start charging in quote unquote a small monthly fee or annual fee. So basically, here's the benefits of a cloud-based SaaS model, software as a service. You get monthly cash flow. It's the holy grail of all businesses. Honestly, guys, monthly cash flow is where it's at, because as far as I checked, I'm still paying electricity and heating bills each month and insurance and all that kind of good stuff. So you always want to have monthly cash flow to cover those bills. Also, when you have a web-based console, i.e. people are logging into a web-based thing, there's a lot less technical problems. For example, sometimes there's browser conflicts, but it's relatively simple. This is really cool. If a customer cancels, they're going to lose their campaigns, so the retention rate's very high. You want to build a good software product, make people start using it, okay, guys? And then if they're using it on their website and it's a small fee, okay, anywhere from like £9.95 a month, £20 a month, stuff like this is like ad tracking services. I've had an ad tracking account with like AdMinder for like bloody 10 years. It's only like $13 a month or something, but I was like, I might have some ad campaigns running, so I didn't want to close it down. Web hosting is another one. You can obviously move web hosts, but it's a pain in the ass. Autoresponder services and stuff like that. But monthly cloud-based software as a service is really, really cool. Data is also very valuable. You get to see what your customers are using the software for. Believe me, this is very valuable, not to just you, but to a company that you're going to sell your business onto. And the biggie is sell out. Trust me, guys, people love recurring revenue. If you're going to sell your business to an investor or a big group of people, and you say my business is doing anything from 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, $1 million a month, they love to say that. So take my word for that now. By all means, develop plugins and stuff. Use JVZoo to get a bit of traction. There's nothing wrong with that. You can still make a very nice income from it. But if you want to get into those higher amounts, this is the direction like I recommend you go in. Basically positioning your company for an exit. I can actually see one of the guys is on the call here. A guy, Eric Owens, I'm about to introduce you to. So in the past, we've sold businesses for a very tasty six-figure sum. Selling for six figures was nice to me, but to be honest, money's only one thing. What I like seeing is it's a blueprint. If you can sell something for X amount of money, you now have a blueprint. Why did it sell for that much money? Can I replicate it? How do I get more money? How do I exit at a higher level? How do I make it more attractive to the investor? So that's basically what I found. So selling the business, the money was cool, but to be honest, it was the blueprint that I found a lot more enticing. Here's a contact for you guys, Eric Owens and Mike Kemsky. Their business is appbusinessbrokers.com. They do broker obviously kind of app businesses, but they actually do internet marketing and lots of niche sites and stuff. They're really good guys to know. So if you're looking actually either to buy a business and or buy a business or sell your business, these guys are pretty handy. They negotiated my sale. Very, very good guys. Everything was cool. So let me kind of run through this with you. A typical internet marketing business will sell for 6 to 12 months profits. These would especially be the more hype-based business opportunities. Like oh, you can make money in 30 minutes by using this software. Um, we had a business like that, and it is hard to sell. You can make good profit and cash flow out of it, but if you really want to get into the bigger numbers, you probably want to go. You want to go. You want to go into different sort of variations of the niche, or maybe different niches altogether. For me, the multiples are a wee bit low. So if you have a more generic based business in a growth, and especially making in a growth sector, i.e. app building, niche website, hobby-based websites as well can get really good returns. Say you had a website about how to learn how to box or something. It was like £10 a month, and you went to sell to an investor, and you said, yeah, I've had these members for like 2 or 3 years. The drop-off rate's really low. These businesses can sell for actually 24 to 48 months. So obviously, if I'm building a business, would you rather sell for like 6 to 12 months, or would you rather sell for up to 48 months? It's much more appealing for me to build for future value. Kind of like the same way. It's like a virtual property. It's like an offline property. Would you rather build like a property in maybe buy a slightly more expensive one, or build a property in an area where you could see there was growth, and that's going to be steady. Might have like a nice, very good location, a good postcode, nice sea views, something like that, guys. Something that's going to be unique. So that's kind of the route again. What we're doing. Recurring income is essential. An investor will always look at your recurring revenue, and it's quite logical, really. I mean, if you were going to buy a business, guys, and say it was $1 million, and you said, how are you generating leads and traffic? And you go, oh, I'm doing it off affiliates and AdWords and doing all and Facebook. Well, they're like, well, what happens if Facebook disappeared? What happens if AdWords disappeared? If they were one-time sales? Well, guys, if you have recurring revenue, say it's 50, 100 grand a month, whatever it is, and your drop-off rates maybe, recurring revenue drop-off rates are typically, it varies niche to niche, but let's say 25%. Um, in lower price niches, maybe $10 to $12 a month, $15 a month, we sometimes see drop-offs at maybe 10, 20%. So they're a lot lower, guys. Again, it's kind of like software as a service. If people are using your service, they're going to stay with you for life, especially if they're using it and getting, an ROI from it. So, it's quite logical. If you're going to purchase, virtual property, recurring revenue is going to be really uh, popular. So, data as well. Again, if you're building a company that has a lot of data on your customers, investors value data very highly. Why do you think companies like Facebook and Twitter have valuations in the billions? I mean, the last I seen was Twitter had um, I think it was valued at 25 billion, and it hasn't made any profit since it's been around. It's the data and the growth which makes these companies very, very attractive. So basically, guys, here's things to do right from the start. If you want to position your product for an exit strategy, if you're going to build it right. Install a third-party trusted service like Google Analytics to track your web traffic. Because you want to show your growth in traffic and everything, and you don't want it to be some bot script. Use a third party big name source. Plus Google Analytics is free. What better thing to use? Record your advertising and ROIs when possible in a spreadsheet if you're doing advertising, AdWords, Facebook. um, Investors will want to see bank deposits that match up with the revenues, so be prepared for that. So if you're making 10 grand a week from ClickBank, they'll want to see that going in your bank account each week. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. If I was buying a business, I don't want to see the same thing. It's due diligence. Start getting customer testimonials, collect them in a swipe file. Good for marketing too, obviously. Makes buyers feel confident that they're buying into a good service. Again, low refund rates. If someone wants to buy a business off you and they see high refund rates, obvious questions will arise. Is this product any good? Why is this happening? So you want to inspire confidence in your buyer from the start. So customer testimonials and low refund rates will do a good job at that. you're going to want to have your revenue stats and your expenditure. So start collecting all your your costs, and then deduct everything like your customer support, your hosting costs, your video hosting costs, things like that, email autoresponder costs. Because guys, most investors here are going to give you hundreds of thousands and millions. Do want to see a breakdown of this stuff. It's better to be honest as well, and just be as transparent as possible, because if you just basically you show everybody these stats, then they know exactly what they're getting. It's going to make the deal go through a lot easier. And also the growth potential. Build a product service in a growing market. They're the kind of fundamental keys. So they're the kind of things that you want to do at the start when you're building a business to sell it on. Maybe you just want to develop software info products and kind of make the cash flow. But I'm sure a lot of you do want to actually make cash flow and sell the business for a nice fee in the future. So again, it's horses for courses. There's different ways. Sometimes you get into a business, it's very lucrative. It's going to be short term, but you can make good cash flow out of it in the meantime. There's other businesses that might take a little longer to get going, but obviously the growth and the exit is a lot higher. But let me show you something. I've got something really special. I'm just going to finish up here, and then I'll take a few questions from you guys. Oh, sorry, the other things there. Email list that comes with a business. We'll want to see that, and also start building social media accounts from the very start. So, open YouTube accounts, Facebook, Twitter related to the business, so that you're going to give investors or buyers everything related to it. Again, it's a good proposition in a package for someone who wants to buy. So anyway, on to the surprise bonus. I forgot about those other 9 points. This guy here is called Mirza. Does anybody know who this guy is? Put in the box, please, if you know Colm Mirza. Okay, yep. Few people yes, few people no. Okay. We've got about 20-30% say yes. Colm Mirza, I was actually in Dubai with him for 4 days. This guy is absolutely amazing. He's the $450 million man. He's built a net worth of $450 million in about 10 years. He's probably going to be a billionaire in about 2 or 3 years. And I picked his brain for so long. He's coaching and mentoring me at the minute, and I've actually got him to do an interview just for DNA Wealth members at the minute, because I want to give you guys really I want to give you guys as much value and content as possible. And basically, I'd asked him, how do I sell a company for at least $50 million? And he's given me a lot of the steps and the guides to do that. So, kind of some of the stuff I've incorporated. Obviously, the $1 billion mastermind was a very select few. So I can't reveal everything because I don't know how much Colm wants me to share. But I've kind of thrown in a lot of nuggets there. The stuff that he's told me about, building companies and how to structure them and stuff, and what kind of revenues and all that kind of good stuff. So that's going to be a bonus for you guys. Not sure we're going to have to see when the schedule's set and get it done, but I thought you would like that, guys. So in a nutshell, guys, that is product launch training and research. I hope you really enjoyed that, guys, and it's opened your eyes and give you a lot of insights and stuff how to launch a product. So if you want to type your questions in the box there, anything specific. I don't want to go into reviewing sales copy and sales letters and stuff like that. Let's keep this call kind of structured within researching a market and how to do market research and what kind of ideas you have and stuff. So do you want to put in any ideas you have and stuff? Yep, Joe Thompson, really thankful. Ted Sinek, great first sessions. Stefan Vanderlike, please stop, bro, my mind is full. Michael Burt, any tips for markets outside IM? Some good markets, Michael, are things like fitness and weight loss are very big markets. They can be competitive. Again, if you want to, sorry, a really big niche at the minute, guys. I just don't have time to really go into it. Is the survival niche? Let's see if we can. Yeah, everything's going to explode. There's anarchy in the UK. This kind of stuff. Um, Basically, the survival niche is actually pretty massive. Chris Bloor, best webinar I've been on in 5 years. Thank you, sir. I'll take that as a credit. So if you go to marketplace here, thing is, guys, the marketplaces always lead you where you want to go. So again, you can go down here. ClickBank Green Products was also a really good one. I mean, I'm just looking at this randomly. The Nikola Tesla secret. Again, this doesn't tie in directly, but obviously if you're in the survival market, okay, guys, the survival market is linked to something like this. So obviously, what are you going to need to survive? Well, you're going to need how to generate a device to generate free electricity. I mean, this is a ranking. Let's just go back here. Leave page. This is a ranking #2 on product for green products. So it's quite safe to say this product will be selling hundreds of dollars a day. Again, Saving Home Energy Manual. You can sort these results by popularity. Gravity. I'm not going to go directly into that now, guys, but as a rule, gravity, the higher the gravity, it kind of means how many affiliates are promoting it and making money. It's a good indication to see what a product's selling by. Again, it's a very interesting algorithm, but the higher the gravity, generally the product's selling. So let's look at this. Earth for energy. So there we go. Leave pages. Some of the other niches as well. Language is quite a big one. You can see there, like learning Spanish, learning French, Chinese, Italian. There are other niches as well. Again, these will be niches that may not make you as much money or be as lucrative as, I mean, the big niches online are typically kind of, weight loss, make money, internet marketing. People spend a lot of money in it. So they generally are the bigger niches. But niches like this, you might not make as much money, but you can make very long, ongoing long tail income and stuff. E-business, e-marketing, that'll kind of fall into internet marketing. Trustjacker.com. Again, you could probably get something like a plugin developed, something like that. That did really well last year, or yes, actually 2013. Again, remember we talked about borrowing brands. There's Tube Launch. I know this did really good last year as well. It was basically showing, make money from your videos by uploading to YouTube.
Have you heard?
I mean, I know that product for a fact did several $100,000. So there is, I mean, you just need to go through this. Again, the market will always lead you to where it is. So a lot of good stuff. So just going through there. Robert Lardy, have you ever white labeled software? If so, would you sell your business without owning the software? Robert, I've never, I have white labeled software, yes. I've sold it, again, to generate cash flow. You would need to be wary of that, obviously. If you sold the software, sold the business, you'd probably need to approach the approach the product vendor and kind of clarify that with them and maybe get something in writing. So if you go on to sell the business using his white label software, that you have rights to do that. So that's what I probably recommend in that case. Kieran Hunt, what's a decent gravity figure to look for? Kieran, it really varies. Gravity and stuff in internet marketing is way higher. Like there's 290, 232, 198. I suppose anywhere from, it can depend, but 30 to 50 probably indicates that there are warm bodies there. So I would say anywhere from 30 to 50 upwards. Let's see, cooking food and wine. Some things that I know, there's a very hot thing. The Paleo Cookbook, 146 for a cooking niche is bloody massive. That's actually really good. We actually had people using FB Gorilla to generate content to their their Facebook pages for paleo, and because that's part of our Facebook Gorilla program, it actually generates recipes randomly. So there's a lot of look. Even if you look at their cooking food, my paleo recipe book, 1,000 paleo recipes. You can see guilt-free desserts, paleo. So I mean, you can see there in the 1, 2, 3, 4. So four guides there are paleo. So that kind of leads you to the market that paleo is obviously pretty hot in the cooking niche. Alex Tran, would you think that a niche with a physical product is a good place to start? For example, weight loss could be an info product or a physical product. Alex, I mean, yes, a physical product. You can expand into physical products. The reason why you like obviously developing software and digital stuff is you're basically giving yourself a much easier barrier to entry. If something's digital, you don't have any stock as such. Your hosting costs are very, very small. If you want to create a physical product, by all means do it. But I'd always tend to go down the route of creating digital stuff and then maybe going physical. That's again my personal preference. I'm always looking at the highest leverage points. I can get the software developed for X amount of money. I can everything's digital, everything's online. Again, when you go to sell it to someone, if you try to sell a business that's physical based, they'll probably be like, well, who's going to handle the shipping, or is it a drop shipper? How much is this going to cost? It's going to create I would say it's going to create a bit more of a higher barrier to entry from people looking to invest. So again, it's not something that you can totally disregard. I'm just saying that I think the digital world is maybe a bit easier. So I hope that answers your question. Debbie Thomas, yep, this is very helpful. Juan Hera, is the JVZ the only place to search for markets? No. As I said, I use ClickBank there. We also have, as I said, JVZ. And let me actually get you. Let me just get something for you guys. One second there. Okay, I'm still going to be here 1 second. I'm just not going to show the screen. Let me just show you something. Okay, guys. Because Peter had sent me over some things, so let me just. Okay, 1 second, guys. Okay, guys. I was just getting something there. I'm just going to paste this into Keynote. I'm actually doing work live in front of you. Okay, let me just blow this up. These are three resources from Peter. I'm going to actually paste this in here. Sorry, let me just paste that in. I actually have this in the slides, guys, but it seems to have vamooshed. Okay, guys, I'm just putting this into the chat box. These are three services recommended by Peter. Similarweb.com, isespionage.com, and follow.net. Some of them are paid services, and a lot of them are free. You know, they kind of go down the freemium route. You can get like X amount of free reports, or you can get like just a certain amount of data. But that's ways to kind of research the markets as well outside these ways. I mean, I was reading a book by Frank Kern yesterday, and he gave away a very interesting statistic where the average guy under 35 only spends $30 on Valentine's Day gifts, but the target market between 45 and 60 will spend 350% that amount. So if you were targeting Valentine's Day's gifts, well, if you know someone spends 3.5 times more, and you're looking to get positive ROI on promoting Valentine's Day gifts, or sell your own, whatever it is, to target that market. Obviously, you can use like Facebook's advertising platform to really zone in on that. So there's 3 links for you guys. I hope that's helpful. Just look at the questions. Tobias Berlin, do you think membership websites still work? People say this isn't working anymore. People don't want to pay monthly. No, Tobias, no, absolutely. People will always pay. I mean, there's so many websites out there. I was speaking to a friend, Chris Blur, and I don't know how public he wants me to make it, but again, there was a company that were paying, I think it was like a small amount, like $10 a month, but it was in the tens of thousands of dollars. What I'm trying to say is, if you're going to sell like a internet marketing program, you're going to have to. The way it's going to sell is by positioning. If you're positioned as a high authority or expert, or you're selling something that people really want, they will pay for it. But you can go down the nano payment route. You're just charging like $10 a month and stuff, and going for the long tail. Membership websites definitely do work. Let me just I'll just type something out for you guys. Again, this was something I learned from Ryan Lee. Things like hobby websites. People will pay. I think he said, maybe anywhere from $4.95 to $20 a month. That's like learn how to build model airplanes, or even like maybe online gym training programs, stuff like that. But if it's like a business program, in other words, something that people can get ROI, because it's commercial investment. So if you're spending $20 for a service, but it's making you 50, you're going to stay with that all the time. So you could be paying anywhere from $30 to $300 a month, upwards, again, for what it is. So it depends on your market and stuff, guys. There is pros and cons to each. Hobby websites, you can get a lot of long tail members that'll stay with you for ages. In business programs, because it's more commercial, it's commercial intent, people are buying business programs to make their life easier, to make return on investment, or to save them time, because obviously the time is their investment. Okay, just doing it. Tarek M, now that we researched an affiliate product we want, what's the next step? Will that be covered in the next training? Yeah, the future training, we're doing sales funnels or the sales ladder next. I have to actually just go and check the program. But yeah, we're gonna basically show you how to do some like sales copy and stuff, and how to position stuff, to create your own products. So yeah, we'll be covering that in the next couple of sessions, Tarek. Stefan van der Vlijk's just saying member sticks 3 months on average. Yeah, again, Stefan, it's so dependent on the market. I'm in niches where the stick rate is really it's looking pretty crazy, like anywhere from 7 to 10 months plus. But yeah, for a typical internet marketing product that was maybe selling for $30 to $67 a month, I would say a 3 month stick average, maybe even 2 to 3 months would be an average. Yeah, Chris Lures just sent me a stat. Chris, could you just put in the box if I can share that stat? I'll share it there if you give me the nod. Brian Grayson, do you approach this in the same way if the product we're promoting isn't a one-time launch but an ongoing evergreen type product instead? Yeah, Brian, I'll cover this in future stuff. What I like to do is I like to create campaigns, marketing campaigns, because obviously, people like Coca-Cola and stuff, they just have a Coke, and obviously, it's an evergreen product. But what they do to spice their campaigns up is, they use things like Christmas, holiday events, sporting events. So, what I would do, Brian, in that kind of case would be create marketing campaigns. So we will be covering that in future. That is actually like a separate thing. Marketing campaigns are something that I've done over the years to kind of relaunch products or put it like a different spin on it and stuff. So I hope that answers your question. Yep, Chris Lures just allowed me to reveal these stats. This company that has, I'm not sure the exact niche, but they have 82,000 members paying $10.95 a month. So Tobias, that kind of that kind of puts stick to the membership sites work. 82,000 members at $10.95 a month. That's crazy, absolutely. Plus their list is growing at 15,000 a month. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's going to sort of wrap everything up. Thanks for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I've really tried to deliver as much value as I can, and sort of researching types of products to sell and create. Obviously, you could go on for several hours about this stuff. What I've kind of tried to do is to give you as much investment for you've obviously spent a few hours with me here. I want to just give you absolutely the most valuable data that I can in the allocated time. So I hope this has been good for everybody. Um, Everybody seems to, yep. Thanks for all your comments, guys. Tobias, Wilson, Vince, Chris, Debbie, gratefully received, and Ken Bikes, Lionel Cruz. Yeah, there's so many ways to skin a cat, and everybody's different. Everybody has their different income goals. We could spend our life just doing business 18 hours a day, like my main man. I call him the boss, call Mirza. He works so hard, but he's such an inspirational man. He really deserves. I've never seen someone deserve the money more than he does for the amount of work he does. Very inspirational character. Um, so yeah, Debbie Thomas wish there was 30 hours in a day. Yes, true. Again, what I tried to do in these slides, guys, was just cut through the crap and just give you as many ideas and just show you case studies and what I'm doing in my own business. I hate hype and fluff. I like to just tell people what I'm doing and really just say, here's what I'm doing, go and model it. There's more than enough for anybody. The Cam Banks, those toes look hot. Yeah, it kind of did burn a wee bit. It was an interesting experience, the firewalk. Fadwa Mohana, thank you, Andrew, Chris, and Peter. Fadwa, it was a pleasure to meet you in Dubai. I hope you've got a good kind of crash course on researching a product and stuff. Great to have you here. Andrew Hamilton, one of my childhood friends, he's been learning a bit of internet marketing. Awesome webinar, loads of valuable stuff. Thank you for the feedback. Martin, thanks for the day. great webinar. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap this up now. And send over to my wonderful tech wizard to get this up in the members area. We'll also export the slides, so you'll have that. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And we'll be covering it's either sales funnels or sales copy. So I will see you next week. We'll email you all the information. It'll probably be around the same day. I just need to check the schedule because it's pretty crazy at the minute. But thanks again, guys. Loved having you here. Have enjoyed it immensely, and I will chat to you all very soon. So take it easy. Bye.